What is going on, crypto peeps? I'm back from my vacation in Hawaii. Great to see all of you. Hope you guys are having a great day and a great week. Cryptocurrencies aren't really having a great day or a great week. We did see over the last week or two, a few altcoins have parabolic rallies. But what we see thereafter is that traders are taking their profits quickly. Now, you can't begrudge them, especially the fact that we're in a bear market. You have to take profits where you can get them. We did send out trade alerts on coins such as Neo, where we saw over 30% profits. Again, if you want access to those trade alerts, hit the link in the description for the Patreon. That'll give you access to the trade alerts and the weekly crypto picks. So we had coins such as Neo, saw a parabolic rally. Tezos, which came out of nowhere. Don't even ask me about this because I have strong opinions regarding this project. Bitcoin Diamond, I think it was. Where is that at? Yeah, Bitcoin Diamond over the last 7 days saw a 22% gain. God knows why. Digibyte, which saw a 33% gain over the last 7 days. And if you look at the last 24 hours on some of these coins. So the last 7 days on Digibyte, you saw 33%. The last 24 hours was minus 10. So you're seeing that people are taking, if you look at the charts, you'll see that people are taking profits, and you'll see a lot of red volume thereafter. And again, I mean, we can't begrudge traders for taking profits. You should be taking profits if you're a trader, especially if they're in the double digits, especially if we are in a bear market. There is nothing wrong with that. So the markets right now, overall, we're at a 253 billion market cap. It looked like we were trending upwards slowly for a minute towards 280, but 280 seems to be the strong resistance on the overall market cap, and we are falling well below that every time we inch towards that. The more we fall, the more this BTC dominance increases. So let us get right into the coins real quick before getting into the topic for the day, which is what happens with Ripple every time Ripple is oversold. Now, there are a ton of oversold top 20 crypto projects right now, and we'll go through some of them. But if you haven't paid attention to the charts and you see these, you'll be surprised yourself at how oversold these look on the charts, and these could present possible opportunities for us to bank profits in the near future. So let us just start with BTC real quick. You'll see that BTC has broken out of a descending broadening wedge. Now, this could be a bullish pattern, especially in a downtrend, and we saw that we broke out of that positively. However, we are now transitioning to an ascending triangle. Now, the ascending triangle was forming a squeeze up until yesterday, and depending on how we broke from the ascending triangle, that would determine whether this pattern failed or whether it was upheld. Obviously, we broke below the support line of the ascending triangle, and now we see this big, tall, red candlestick for today's candle falling to a price of around 6,300. There is strong resistance at around 6,200. Support at around 6,200. The major support thereafter is 5,800, which we fell below the July 4th weekend. You'll see that there is bearish divergence between, this is hidden bearish divergence between the price, the RSI, and the stochastic, which could have provided us with an indication that we were going to continue down, and we could still continue down, especially since we don't have any great volume coming in. If you're looking at the BTC shorts, you do see that they are starting to rise just a little bit, meaning that market sentiment is becoming a little more bearish with regards to BTC, but it's not really anything significant. For me, I would just call this level, as you saw previously between the dates of April and June, before we had some spikes in shorts, but it's not really anything alarming. Now, with trends such as the ascending triangle, obviously with new information comes new projections, right? So it's not as if you draw this trend and then just say, hey, it failed, to maintain the trend, or this bullish trend failed, so that's it. No, you have an extra candle now, and if you extend this trend line, you can still maintain that same trend. It's only if, once you extend the trend line, if the pattern changes, then you have a potentially new pattern that would disrupt current structure, right? So right now, if you move this trend line to accommodate today's candle, you could still maintain an ascending triangle like we see. Still maintain an ascending triangle like we see here. So we are still potentially in this ascending triangle formation. With BTC, we might continue to teeter or seesaw within this pattern right here until we break it either way, either break the support line and go below 5,800. Obviously it all depends on volume, or we can break towards the upside, but it seems that there is heavy resistance at 6,800 and heavy support at 5,800. So we might be within that channel for a while. Moving on to the topic of the day. So this is what I was talking about with XRP, and this is XRP paired against Bitcoin. XRP has been oversold a number of times on the daily chart if we're going by RSI, obviously on the stochastic as well, but the stochastic is a more frequent oscillator than the RSI, so you'll see oversold and overbought signals on the stochastic a lot more frequently. But looking at the RSI, and I drew these green markers here as measurements of how far we have increased after an oversold signal on the RSI historically with Ripple. And this goes back years. I mean, you can back test this for, a couple of years or so. But we'll take this test right here goes all the way back to the beginning of 2017. So we'll take that as our sample size, which is a pretty healthy sample size. So every time we hit the oversold marker on the RSI, you'll see that XRP/BTC rallies, and it rallies to varying degrees. I mean, some of these are ridiculous profits. So you'll see back in February 2017, once we hit the oversold, we eventually rallied 1,200%. And then you saw this rally during the altcoin summer of last year. This rallied once we hit, after hitting oversold, we eventually rallied 4,700%. Right, and you'll see that here in the overbought area of the RSI. Once again, we saw an oversold signal here. We rallied 62%. We saw an oversold rally over here in December of 2017. We saw a gain of 1,300%. We saw an oversold signal here back in, where was it? Back in March. And we eventually rallied 46%. Now, I'm not saying that we go directly from being oversold to a rally. Sometimes, we have to hit sometimes XRP BTC hits the oversold marker a few times before rallying. So what you can do here is, once it hits the oversold area, you can either buy and hold, or you can sort of average on the way down, or dollar cost average on the way down. So essentially you'd be buying a portion every time you see that it hits the oversold marker. So back here on June 26th, you would buy a certain portion, say 25% of your XRP budget, wait to see if it hits it again. If it hits it again, buy another 25% and average on your way down. Or you could just buy and hold for the long run if you have the patience and the penchant to do so. But what we've seen with XRP is that every single time it hits the oversold marker, and trades below all three EMAs. So this is the 50, the 100, and the 200 EMAs. The 50 is the orange, the 100 is the green, the 200 is the yellow. So every time it falls below the three EMAs, as well as hits oversold on the RSI, you eventually see a rally. Now, trend is your friend until it isn't. So we will continue to leverage that trend until the market shows us otherwise. Looking at Tron is majorly oversold right now as well. Now, Tron hasn't been on the market as long as XRP has, so we don't have a history of seeing how many times it will rally after hitting the oversold marker. Nonetheless, if we're just going off of technicals, Tron is currently majorly oversold, falling below the 30 on the RSI, maintaining this low momentum below 20 on the stochastic. And you see on the Bollinger Bands that it's hitting the lower band of the Bollinger Bands. Now, the Bollinger Bands is just a way of measuring potentially when the coin or the asset is going to regress to the mean. So everything in nature, including markets, there is a tendency once it hits below the average to regress to the mean, right? Now, it won't give you an exact time frame, but you can use this as an indicator of the fact that it will actually regress to the mean at some point, right? So Tron is majorly oversold. And this, it's interesting. So with the coins that launched mainnets, you'll see that right after the mainnet. So this was around May 29th, I think. It took a shit and continued on a downtrend and has been on one ever since. If you look at EOS, same thing. Around the beginning of June is when the mainnet launched. And you'll see that right after that, EOS continued to take a shit. Now, before that, you'll see a rally, and these are hopeful rallies in anticipation of events like the mainnet. But then people start taking profits, or traders start taking profits, and smartly so, shortly before the mainnet launched. And now we know that that is the trend with projects that have upcoming mainnets, no matter how large the project is. So EOS and Tron, I mean, these are big names. It's not like one of these coins, you know, below the top 50 coin market cap that are releasing mainnets. These are top 10, top 20 coins that are releasing mainnets. So you'll see that EOS is also majorly oversold the same way that Tron is. And it's currently trading below the lower band of the Bollinger Bands, indicating that it is well below the mean at this point. And we currently fell below the 0.618 fib line, and the 0.618 is usually a deciding ratio or a deciding level. So either the bears will take over or the bulls will take over on the 0.618. And you could see that it convincingly fell below the 0.618 without any hesitation, meaning that the sentiment on EOS is super bearish at the moment. Now, think about it. With regards to crypto projects that have launched mainnets, you know, the mainnet is a big event, sure. So you see the hope and the price driven by that hope increasing parabolically. But after a mainnet is launched, I mean, we're still in a very young market. So even though these crypto projects might have practical uses in the future, they don't currently. So after mainnet is launched, those of us who are in the crypto sphere then say, okay, now what? So you're finding out that just because a mainnet is launched, it doesn't mean you go from launch to practical use right away. You go from launch to sort of this purgatory period, this holding period where, okay, yeah, that's great that you launched on time and the platform seems stable, but now what? How do we use this? And without there being a clear sense of how to use that crypto or that blockchain project, you will see sentiment start to wane because there really isn't anything to be excited about. Now, pure traders can come in and, you know, see that something like this is majorly oversold. And if there are other indicators that are telling them this is the right time to buy, you could see pure traders, people who are just looking to speculate off of the markets, pump that price up and take profits once again. So there's a symbiotic relationship. I've always believed that between fundamentals and technicals. It's not all about technicals. It's not all about fundamentals, especially with a market and a technology that is this young. Anyway, that is it for this video. Leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section. Join the Discord. It's 100% free. That's where the interesting discussions take place. That's where you can also get a hold of me. Join the Patreon for the trade alerts and the weekly report. Stay safe out there. Peace.